A new revelation in the saga surrounding New York Congressman George Santos.
Tomorrow, we could learn the identities of the three people who helped him make bond. Back in May, last month, he surrendered to federal authorities and pled not guilty to 13 criminal counts, including fraud. Santos was released on $500,000 bond. There is a noon deadline tomorrow at the courthouse to find out who those people are.
CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane joining us now from Capitol Hill with more on this. Scott, so what's the motive here? Why doesn't Santos want this information released?
Yeah, Christine, according to his defense attorney, Congressman Santos is, quote, concerned about the health and safety of the people who helped him make bond if their identities are released. He has been fighting tooth and nail over the past couple of weeks to keep their identities concealed and sealed in court documents. And he has made this provocative suggestion in his court filings, Christine and Maurice, that he would rather surrender to pretrial detention, go to jail, rather than identify those individuals. So there is quite a put up or shut up moment happening in Central Islip at noon tomorrow when the judge says these documents will be unsealed unless Congressman Santos changes the names or the identities of the people who are going to be securing his bond, finds new people, in other words, or does indeed try to surrender to pretrial detention.
Geez, he even said they might have been family members at one point, right, Scott?
Yeah, there's been indications this could be people who are familial in his family or in his close inner circle. He's here tonight, Maurice, still voting on the House floor, still partaking in congressional business. This all, though, happens in the courthouse in Central Islip with the judge tomorrow, making the decision whether to release these names unless George Santos changes the parameters under which he is released pending trial.
What about the criminal case itself, Scott? Where does it go from here? What's the timetable?
You'll recall there are 13 federal charges, Maurice. Federal cases are measured in months, if not years. This could take a while. This could bleed well into 2024. I'll also note our latest CBS News reporting that the House Ethics Committee, which is investigating Congressman Santos, also wants the names of the people who posted his bond to ensure he didn't violate the House gift rules by accepting that remuneration or that help from somebody on the outside.
Did the court impose any restrictions on the congressman while this case is pending?
Some restrictions. He can, though, travel to and from New York and Washington, D.C. to continue doing his job. He needs to be in both cities to be a serving congressman. His travel elsewhere is limited, but in the meantime, he can continue functioning as a congressman as he fights this out in federal court.
Okay, all eyes on the courthouse in Central Islip tomorrow. Scott MacFarlane, congressional correspondent, CBS News. Thanks so much for the insight tonight, Scott.
Thank you.